The Warriors were searching for some defense, but they didn't find it in the Motor City. The Pistons roll, scoring 128 points, and all 5 starters for the Pistons score in double figures, and the Warriors dropped their second straight game on this back-to-back and dropped the first 2 of this 5-game road trip, giving up at least 120 to both Charlotte and Detroit. They've got to figure some things out on the defensive end of the floor as we welcome everybody to Warriors Postgame Live, presented by Toyota with the Hall of Famer Chris Mullin, Festus Ezeli. He's an NBA champion, and I am Bonte Hill. And look, the Warriors came out with energy in the first quarter. We were searching for that. However, in the second quarter, Detroit flips the game with a 34-18 burst, and then, of course, they held that lead throughout the second half.
Very strange game. You know, the threes were not falling for the Warriors. The Detroit Pistons, you got to give them credit. They took the Warriors out of their offense. They pushed them way out, and it seemed like they just couldn't buy a basket. Very athletic, young team, and that showed tonight, especially on the back-to-back night with tired legs for the Warriors.
And Bonte mentioned the 5 starters in double figures. 4 of the 5 over 20 points.
Yeah.
Cade Cunningham almost a triple-double. Isaiah Stewart a double-double. Across the board, a great attack by the Detroit Pistons. I thought, again, they ran the Warriors off the three-point line and had multiple efforts defensively. And once again, the Warriors give up 128 points.
Pistons scored 63 in the first half. They were up 63-55, and they came out in the third quarter and set the tone in the second half. Although the Warriors did make a run there, we'll get to that in a second. But 11-2 spurt right out of the locker room here to say, hey, we're the Pistons. We're trying to snap this 5-game losing streak. And as you mentioned, Mully, Cade Cunningham is a special, special player. 23 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. And they got everybody rolling here, Festus, in that third quarter.
Third quarter, I mean, you got to see, they were attacking, full attack mode. They got it very comfortable, especially after the first half. You know, the Warriors are usually that team in the third quarter that come out after halftime adjustments with Steve Kerr, and they're the aggressors. But it seems like Detroit Pistons took some lessons from the Charlotte game. They watched them and saw how they defended the three-point line. And so after that, when the offense is not falling, sometimes, or when the offense is not going, sometimes it affects your defensive effort. There was a little bit of a comeback from Jordan Poole. He went on a heater there, but it just wasn't enough. You know, they already got in the rhythm. It just seemed like they couldn't stop the Pistons.
Mully, that was impressive from a young bunch in Detroit. Dwayne Casey had them ready to go after the locker room, warning them, hey, the Warriors are a third-quarter team, and they came out looking like the third-quarter team.
No question, led by Cade Cunningham. He's got tremendous poise, confidence. He plays like a veteran, and he got any shot he wanted for himself. He made plays for his teammates. He almost had a triple-double. The Warriors had to go to a lot of zone, and I thought the Detroit Pistons did a really good job adjusting to that, finding some open pocket passes in the middle. Bogdanovich was big.
Yep.
He got over 20 points on 8 shots, so very efficient. So,
great day for him. He signed a 2-year, $39 million extension.
He's nice.
It was a great day.
Good play.
But Festus, I thought that was key as well. But he mentioned as well, Jordan Poole goes on a barrage. He just scores 12 points.
In 52 seconds. Let's show it to the wall.
52 seconds, and you would think a young team would fold. They had an answer for it, but Jordan Poole was just phenomenal. He springs open off the split action for an open 3. Gets an old-fashioned 3-point play on the back cut. Beautiful pass by Draymond. Here in transition. Just Steph did a great job throwing ahead, and now the steal. I love this one. A 1-on-4 break. Let it fly, baby.
And during this time, you also see the offense. The offense also dictated the defense during this stretch. And you can see how when the defense is not going, it puts so much stress on the offense. It puts so much pressure on the offense for it to keep going. When the shots aren't falling, it just seemed like, you know, it just felt like London Bridge was falling down over there.
And obviously the Jordan Poole barrage, timeout by Dwayne Casey, they regrouped.
Yes.
And much like last night, you got to give these teams credit. They're young, inexperienced, but sometimes that works to their advantage. They don't know what they're trying to do. And I think especially being at home for these young teams, It's a huge advantage.
Well, Jordan Poole goes on that spurt there. It was 79-60 Pistons. He scores 12 points in 52 seconds, hits 5 threes in that frame, scored 18 overall in that third quarter. That's the second most Jordan Poole has scored in the quarter. He had a career-high 19 points scored in the quarter last season against the Boston Celtics at Chase Center. Let's pick up the crunch time tape, though. The Warriors felt like they couldn't get within 6. They cut it to 91-85 at one point, and then in the fourth quarter, Sadiq Bey really busted this open with back-to-back back-breaking threes, and the Pistons hold on here and win by double digits. Again, they were 7-point underdogs at home. Look at Sadiq Bey, big-time shot maker. He had 28 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. So in crunch time, as you mentioned, Mully, The youngsters from Detroit did not fold. Stewart was good. Cade Cunningham was good. I thought Jaden Ivey picked up his game in the second half as well, and they didn't panic there even in loose ball situations.
And we just talked about Cade Cunningham's poise and his confidence. Sadiq Bey, a player from Villanova University, a player who scored 50 in the NBA, made 2 huge three-point shots, but a very fundamentally sound. He can knock down a three-point shot. He's got a good mid-range game. He was another player who was solid all night long.
I thought you guys said this team had lost 5 games in a row. Well, coming into this game, this is what I said coming into this game as well. I said, when the champions come in town, you circle down your calendar, because it doesn't matter how bad you were playing before that. As a player, you still have pride. And so these young guys showed on the defensive end and on the offensive end, it just seemed like they couldn't stop them on the pick and roll. The guys, I mean, all 5 starters are all double figures. And the guy, even Isaiah Stewart, who's been shooting 22% from 3, was, what, 2 for 5 from 3 today?
A couple big ones.
These are the things that happen when you have such a huge team coming in town. They play out of their minds. But also, for the Warriors on their side, they have young guys playing these big roles now, right? Last year, they are champions, but they're playing bigger roles this year. Are they used to being the hunted? And this is part of the growth now for this team, is that they have to now start getting used to that part, and they're going to get everybody's best shot every night.
Several keys tonight, but I thought after the first quarter, where the Warriors had an 8-point lead or so, Detroit got that right back. Right? And then when the Warriors when Jordan Poole went on his flurry, they were able to get a timeout and regroup and make some big plays, and then made the clutch shots. You know, that Sadiq Bey 3, I think there was less than 2 seconds on the shot clock. That winds up being a huge shot.
No doubt. The Warriors couldn't get within 6 in that second half. They were up 10 early in the first quarter, but then the Pistons stormed back. They scored 34 in the second. They scored 37 in the third quarter. And they're getting a lot of shots here as we look at the worst 7-game stretches under Steve Kerr. The worst 7-game starts under Steve Kerr, I should say. And look at this, 2019-20, they were 2-5. That season, they won 15 games. Now, I don't foresee the Warriors only winning 15 games this year, but a back-to-back like this, when you lose and you drop to 3 and 4 for the first time this season, it's time to bust out the panic meter. And we're not saying everybody panic. We're not saying, uh-oh. We're also not slightly concerned. We're not tripping right now. However, they got to work on their defense, Mully and Festus. So tighten up the defense, have some fun in South Beach, Miami.